Hello and welcome to our deep dive into artificial intelligence.
Why there?
Today, we're not really looking at, far-off sci-fi concepts.
No, not at all. It's more about how AI is actually changing the tech we use every single day. Running
Exactly.
through it.
And while those, huge AI models get all the headlines,
It's often the smaller integrations, the ones slipping into the tools we already know that have the most immediate effect on us.
and that's right, we're focusing today. We've got some really interesting stuff from a GB Hackers article. It's dated May 27th, 2025.
Yeah, I saw that one. It lays out these pretty significant AI upgrades coming to some core Windows 11 apps.
Yeah, things you wouldn't maybe expect, like Notepad, Paint, even the snipping tool.
Right. It gives a really good look into Microsoft's plan, embedding AI to boost productivity, maybe spark some creativity right there in the OS.
So our mission, essentially, is to unpack these AI features. We want to figure out how they might change your daily routine, maybe open up creative options.
Yeah. But also, and this is important, look at the potential, let's say, downsides or questions that pop up when you integrate AI like this.
Definitely. Okay, let's get into it. Starting with Notepad. Notepad, it's been around forever.
It really has, and it's getting a huge makeover, apparently, transforming it from, that super basic text editor into something, well, more powerful.
The article talks about a new write feature, powered by generative AI.
That's the one. Sounds pretty wild, right? You just right-click in Notepad, choose Write.
And then tell it what you need, like a business letter or maybe some code.
Documentation. Exactly. And the AI just, poof, generates a draft for you almost instantly.
Wow. But you still have control.
That's the key part, yeah. The AI gives you its best shot, but you decide. There are buttons, keep text, or discard.
Okay, so you're not just stuck with whatever it spits out.
Yeah.
That human check is crucial.
Absolutely vital. And the tech behind it, it's a cloud-based, big language models, probably GPT-4 related stuff running through Microsoft's Copilot platform.
Right, Copilot. Now, that brings up access. The article mentions needing a Microsoft account and AI credits.
Ah, yes, AI credits. It suggests some kind of resource system. You use credits to run the AI features.
So that makes you wonder, is it like a subscription? Or pay as you go?
Yeah.
How much will this cost people? That's going to matter.
It's a really good question. Introducing credits, well, it definitely brings up thoughts about who gets access, right? Could it create sort of tiers of users based on what they can or want to spend?
Yeah, something we'll have to watch. But Notepad's AI stuff doesn't stop at just write, does it?
No, there's more. The article also mentions rewrite and summarize. You can get to them with a click or treadle plus I, apparently.
Rewrite and summarize, those sound incredibly handy for, tweaking text, changing the tone maybe, or just getting the gist of something long.
For sure. If you write a lot, being able to quickly rephrase something or make it sound more formal or less, that could save a ton of time.
And for developers.
Oh, yeah. The rewrite could be great for maybe generating code comments, making sure documentation is clear, stuff like that.
The article gives an example, which helps make it concrete. They asked it, write a Python function to calculate factorial of a number.
And it produced actual Python code right there in Notepad. Let me see if I remember it. Something like
Def entorial or n equals 1.
the term n factorial n1.
Yeah, that's it. Pretty neat. It shows the AI can actually generate working code snippets. Could be a real time saver for drafting simple stuff.
Okay, so that's Notepad. Pretty big changes. Let's switch gears now. What about the other tools? Paint and the snipping tool.
Right, they're getting AI treatment too. Paint, especially, is getting some interesting creative features.
Like what? It's not just about drawing anymore.
Well, it's adding an AI sticker generator. You type in a description.
Like the example they gave. Cat wearing sunglasses.
Exactly. And it generates a custom sticker for you. Sounds fun, maybe useful for personalizing things. Definitely fun. But there's a catch with some of these paint features, right?
Uh-huh. That sticker generator. And also a new smart object selection tool. They need a Microsoft account, same as Notepad's AI, but they also need specific hardware.
Ah, the Copilot Plus hardware.
Yeah. These new PCs with NPUs, neural processing units, they're built to handle this kind of AI stuff efficiently on the device itself.
So the smart object selection that uses computer vision to pick out parts of an image automatically makes editing easier.
Precisely. No more tedious manual selecting, hopefully. But yeah, needing that specific NPU in a Copilot plus PC, that definitely links cutting-edge features to new hardware.
It does make you think about, everyone having access. Is this the new normal? Linking cool features to pricey new machines.
Also strategy, for sure. drives hardware sales, but yeah, it can create a divide. Some users get the new toys, others don't yet.
Right, but the snipping tool updates sound a bit more universal.
Seems like it. One is called Perfect Screenshot.
Okay, what does that do? Reads my mind.
Huh? Not quite. But it tries to be smarter. It analyzes the screen when you snip and automatically crops to what it thinks is the main content area.
Hmm. So less fiddling with the crop afterwards.
That's the idea. Just making screenshots quicker, cleaner. Sounds like a small thing, but probably quite welcome.
I could see that being useful. What else for the snipping tool?
It's also getting a color picker.
Oh, like you can point anywhere on the screen.
Yep. And it tells you the exact color code HEX, RGB, HSL values.
Okay, that's actually really handy for designers, developers, anyone working with visuals. Nice addition.
Absolutely. Saves bouncing between apps just to grab a color value.
So yeah, lots of potential benefits here. Productivity boosts, creative tools.
Definitely. But, and it's a big but, the article also spends time on the other side of the coin. The risks. The governance challenges.
This is super important. We've talked about the cool stuff. Now let's get real about the potential problems.
Right. First up, the fact that a lot of this AI processing happens in the cloud. That immediately flags data privacy and security concerns.
Especially if you're using Notepad's AI to draft, say, a sensitive business email or legal notes or even proprietary code. Where does that data go? Who sees it?
Exactly. The risk of breaches, unauthorized access, it's real. The article does mention end-to-end encryption as a way to mitigate this, protecting data even when it's being processed off your machine.
Still, it requires trust.
Yeah.
And then there's the monetization thing we touched on, the AI credits.
Yeah, that could create barriers, like we said, different experiences based on payment.
And what about the AI just making stuff up, the hallucinations?
That's a big one. AI models can generate plausible sounding but totally wrong information. That human review step, the keep text or discard, becomes absolutely critical. You have to check its work.
It's not just about slightly wrong answers. It could lead to spreading actual misinformation if people aren't careful.
For sure. And in workplaces, the article warns about over-permissioning. Like, if these AI tools have too much access within a company's systems, they could accidentally expose sensitive data they weren't supposed to see. Requires careful setup and controls.
Okay, that makes sense. And then there are legal issues.
Yeah, compliance, legal risks. Could the AI generate text or code that violates copyright or infringes on intellectual property? It's a minefield organizations need to navigate.
Wow, the article had that risk factor table, didn't it?
It did. Briefly listed things like data privacy security as high severity, suggesting encryption and audits. Model hallucination was medium, recommending user review and better training.
Monetization barriers, also medium. Over-permissioning, high. Compliance, legal, high. Lots of high-severity risks there.
And the hardware requirements issue we discussed, listed as low severity, with hopes for wider rollout or upgrade paths later.
So looking at the whole picture, Microsoft pushing AI this deeply into basic Windows tools. It really feels like a shift, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's changing how we interact with these fundamental desktop utilities.
Taking things we know, things that are simple, and layering in this intelligence, this capability.
It's a blend of the familiar and the new. And as this stuff rolls out more widely, it's probably going to change what we expect from our computers day to day.
But it also puts more responsibility on us, right, as users?
Totally. We get these powerful tools, but we also have to be smarter about privacy, security, checking the AI's output, you know, the ethical side of using it.
So the big takeaway seems to be, yes, these AI upgrades could make things easier, faster, maybe more creative.
But we can't ignore the risks. We need to be ready to manage them, both individually and within organizations. Think about how you use Notepad. Now imagine it suggesting sentences, summarizing things for you. It changes that interaction fundamentally.
It really does. Which leads to a thought for you, the listener, as AI gets woven more tightly into the software you rely on every day.
How are you going to strike that balance between the convenience, the power it offers, and the need to, well, stay safe, protect your data, and just use it responsibly? Something to think about. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the future of artificial intelligence, especially how it's landing in our everyday tools.
Yeah, we hope you found it interesting, maybe gave you some things to consider.
It's definitely a space that's changing fast.
Absolutely. Keep exploring, keep learning as these technologies develop.
And maybe consider how this increasing AI integration might change not just how you work or create, but maybe even how you think about your personal data and that whole balancing act between convenience and risk in our digital lives. Thanks for tuning in.